We're now joined by Rahil Ansari. He's the head of Audi India. Rahil, appreciate you joining us. For the benefit of our viewers, Rahil, let's try and understand this. The view of the government seems to be that, look, we're trying to correct an anomaly, an imbalance, because what has happened post the GST is that the tax incidence has come down significantly prior to when the GST was in fact rolled out. For the benefit of our viewers, what was the tax incidence prior to the GST and where does it stand today?
First of all, good evening. And to be honest, I'm very disappointed. I mean, looking at the pre-GST, everyone was expecting it that after the GST there is a reduction of prices, and obviously the manufacturers and also us, we've taken the liberty and the steps also to reduce the prices, which was actually according to the customer expectations. Everyone was expecting the same, and this is actually what we did. And going back now, I'm a bit surprised. Means like going even higher to the pre-GST price, which is really contradictory.
No, so confirm for us, you're saying that if indeed, and we don't know the quantum of the eventual hike in the cess, it could be 15 to 25 is only an enabling provision. It may not necessarily mean that they will go all the way to 25%, but assume that they do go to 25%. How much higher will the tax incidence be post that in comparison to when it was before the GST rollout?
The overall, if let's assume they go to 25%, that means overall, compared to pre-GST and post-GST, you would have a price increase of approximately 4% overall, and that doesn't make sense. I think that's like also we have a responsibility in front of the customer, and that basically also means, that the expectation level would have been there at least to have it at par, or if not, a reduction of prices in the post-GST.
Rahil, we don't know when this is actually going to come into effect because this needs to be passed by Parliament. An amendment needs to be moved. The government may choose to exercise the ordinance route as well. That's an option. We don't know whether they will do that yet or not. But are you now offering higher discounts, etc., because you're worried about what happens to inventory, what happens to stock?
No, not really. I mean, first of all, let me put it this way. In principle, as a global brand and as a company, we look forward to consistency and clarity in policies. Now, this is obviously a development which is not clear to us, and we see our entire business plan actually in light of this development very critical. I think as a first step, we are also careful in re-evaluating our plans for the Indian market in total. Now, independent of this, obviously we have offers going on which are natural, but this doesn't mean that we are overreacting now to anything which has been declared as a proposal.
Let me pick up on that last point that you made, Rahil. When you talk about re-evaluating your India plans, what does that mean exactly? Does it mean scaling down your investment plans for India, scaling down your expansion plans for India? When you say re-evaluating India plans in light of this development, take us through what that means exactly.
See, overall, the proposed increase would mean that we would have to increase our prices up to 8% status as of now, which would obviously also have an impact of 20 to 30% in sales reduction. And obviously also our investments in the country are always depending on how do we see the future of this country. And obviously India is an important market to us, a strategic market globally for Audi. And we obviously were also expecting that this market will show the full potential that it has. And doing this now is really is not really in spirit of a liberal market dynamic to increase now the cess by approximately 10%.